into Wales. Wales through a goal, slots it beyond Fodringer, and the Millers are in front in the South Yorkshire derby. And for the first time in 42 years, Rotherham United win at Bramall Lane. On the edge of the box for Doffin, he can hit them, and he does. The Doffin has scored an absolute screamer for Rotherham United. Rotherham United have secured their championship status for next season.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. But it's going to be more of a Euros feel tonight. The Euro kicks off tomorrow, and we're excited. So we're going to talk about it. We'll pull up a bit of Rotherham stuff that has been mentioned over the last day or two, but mainly this will be a European Championships opening episode. Mick has celebrated going to the European Championships by going to the only country on this island not qualified. Mick is in a car park in North Wales. How are we doing, Mick?
Mate, I'm telling you, I can't explain the level of excitement here in Wales about the Euros. They've got bunting out, they've got England flags out in all the shops. It's remarkable. People here are almost as excited as all the journalists will be when England get knocked out. Amazing.
Yes, like it. Tom, how are you doing, Tom?
I'm good. Not quite as happy as the people of Wales, apparently, but yeah, still good.
Yeah, Tom's Friday night today. Big night, big Wednesday night, as we've already talked about. So,
yeah,
Danny will be joining us when his laptop wakes up. So, Danny will be with us shortly. Shell Stone's with us. That is Power Mad YouTube viewers of Alfie, Darren Cook, Alan Cox, Paul Rose, Martin Holland, Dave Lawton. John's with us. Happy to be supporting the same team. Let us start before we get to Euros talk fully. Let us talk about the pre-season games. The only one that's really worth mentioning is the Richard Wood testimonial, which has been confirmed by the club this week. The club have announced it. I know there's been a lot of work done behind the scenes by 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭, who does a lot of great stuff, to be fair. If there's something happening at club, something good, it's probably 𝐁𝐿 probably involved at this stage. But there's been a testimonial committee which Kev's been on and Paul Bixon's been on and a few other people. It's good news, Mick. It's really, really good news that Woody gets this kind of proper farewell, really. Yeah,
100% it is. It's fully deserved. I mean, it is a bit weird having a testimonial for another team's player. That does feel a bit weird, but as you rightly point out, it's absolutely bang on that he gets the recognition that he deserves, and a massive thanks to Kev again, as you point out there, and the other people involved in bringing this together. Along with the club, so it's good. I like it. I'm impressed.
Yes, yeah. It would have been. It's one of those things. So that would have been nice if the club had arranged something last year and done it. But at the end of the day, Woody deserves his testimonial. So from that point of view, it's great that the work's been done by Kev Johnson and the club and whatnot. And hopefully it's a sellout. Hopefully it's a good atmosphere and it's a good day.
Yeah. I just don't know how it's going to work. Who's he play for? Because he can't play for who he's not contracted to, right?
It's a friendly, so technically you can.
Can you?
I don't know how Donny would feel about him donning a Rotherham shirt for 20 minutes.
That's against them.
Yeah,
surely there's some legal stature there that they can't do it. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see him, 90 minutes play against us. But yeah, hopefully he gets the send off he deserves, like you say. But the preseason schedule, isn't it? It's part of the training. So it'll be a good day out, and I'm sure it will be a sellout. It has to be.
Yeah. Tickets are on sale. Should be on sale Monday, is what the information I've been given. £12 for adult will be adult tickets. I think it's been on the website, and there are the corporate meals fate, which is £89, which includes a meal, a personal gift. I think Woody will be up there post game as well. So yeah. I'm very, very happy that we get this sort of goodbye. Danny, Woody testimonial. Just give us your brief thoughts on it.
I think it's a long time in the making and fully deserved. I think Woody definitely deserves it. He had 9 years at the club and he was a brilliant servant of just Rotherham fans and the club in general. He had some magic moments with us. And it's quite funny that Steve Evans signed him originally to the club, and now he's come back, and now it's his testimonial. Just a shame. He's going to be him in a Doncaster shirt, and hopefully everyone behaves themselves. But yeah, I honestly can't wait for it. It'll be great to see him back at New York. It's a shame they couldn't get it sorted as some sort of testimonial pre-season, whatever fixture, just after he left, because we sort of had something similar with Barlas, like obviously not to the same level of a testimonial, but he sort of came back with Middlesbrough. But yeah, I'm happy it's all sorted, and like Tom said, tickets are on sale soon. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I really hope Woody gives us a penalty in the first half, like Jay did. I'd also like to apologise for my tardiness. My laptop decided just not to turn on. Like, sat up, everything sorted, it were a full battery, and it just went, no, not doing that today. So I'm testing the water with the Wi-Fi, which seems to be holding out. Will they hold out with the camera? That's the question.
We'll soon find out. It did make me laugh that Steve Evans gets a mention and a quote on the website. I know he signed him in the first place. I also pretty sure he farmed him out on loan to Chesterfield in that same season, or certainly somewhere.
Well, it's not like Big Steve riding in the back of somebody else's success, is it?
Anyway,
somehow.
Sorry, did I say that out loud? I apologise.
Yeah, but it's not about Steve Evans.
Of course it's not. I said that out loud and all the time.
It's not about Steve Evans. It's about Richard Wood. And like I said, I think even without testimonial, the Donny game would probably been well attended anyway, with it being the only got Sheffield, I suppose. Only one of 2 home games. So yeah, get your tickets for when that is out. We may well come back to Rotherham United. We probably will, because there's pre-season stuff to talk about. But let's get into Euros mode, because we are a day away. 24 hours now until it kicks off. Tom, how are we feeling about the tournament? Do you want to talk about England's chances maybe in a little bit? But are you the kind of person that's buzzing about major tournaments?
Good, tough question, because when they roll around, but I had no clue it was tomorrow, if I'm being honest. I mean, no clue. I had no idea that was the first game. But it's sort of big tournaments always get people buzzing. I've had a lot going on, so maybe it's that. But it's good. It'll be good to see the country in uproar again due to one reason or another, and someone missing a penalty and whatever. It'll be good, and it's football. What more can you ask for? I think Copa America's on as well. So for those who actually want to, for those who can't get enough of football, it's constant. It's like the Mitchell and Webb sketch. Which is great. Constant football. So yeah, excited for that. But yeah, I had absolutely no clue that it was on tomorrow.
Yeah. I think there's a spell of 7 or 8 days where there's something like 5 games on within the space of about 14 hours in the Euros and the Copa America. So if you're without a job at the minute and you like football, this next month is going to be amazing.
I feel like that was a subtle finger point at me there, Matt, to be fair.
Not a finger point, but you're currently unemployed, and there's going to be millions and millions of minutes of football to watch. So this might be the best time to be unemployed for you, Dan, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not going to get any sleep, am I?
No. You don't need sleep when there's Euros and Copa America on.
It's going to be great.
I love major tournaments. I'm so excited for them all, as you can see by my wall chart. It's just, I don't know. It's a kid at Christmas for me. It's that old cliche festival of football. I know I don't really like that phrase, but that's essentially what it is. There's always drama. There's always the little teams upsetting the big teams. There's always great goals. The Euros are probably better than the World Cup, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, with the Euros, it almost feels like, well, it is, I suppose. It's more of a local tournament, and you can get behind England a bit more because there's sort of that. Currently, anyway, there's that safety net of, we're one of the better teams in Europe. Whereas at the World Cup, it's we're in a bigger pond. But I do prefer the Euros to the World Cup, just because I can't quite put my finger on it, but it just feels like it's more of a close-knit thing. And in terms of England's chances, we sort of rate them a bit more, even though our record in the Euros is actually poorer than the World Cup.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. I just rate England's chances, and I think that's why it's a bit nicer this Euros as well, especially after the last one. And it's only 3 years since the last one as well, so we haven't done the full cycle, which is nice.
We haven't. We still had that spare summer in between, didn't we? Well, two spare summers in 22 and 23, which was unusual and unpleasant. I mean, the tournament increased a couple of years ago to 24 teams, so it's a bit easier now than it used to be. But it still tends to be a bit more competitive because Europe was continentally, it's the best continent football-wise. The teams are the best teams, so it's always going to be a bit more competitive because you're not playing Panama and Iran and teams like that who have been cannon fodder for England.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, with the exception of arguably Scotland and possibly Georgia, there's not a great deal of cannon fodder left in this tournament, is there, this time around? So, and you would argue 99 times out of 100, there's always one team that you think is going to be cannon fodder that ends up qualifying as well. So that'll be Georgia, I imagine. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'm not a fan of international football, as you are aware. I'm as an England fan, I'm very much like a Sheffield Wednesday supporter. You know, when there's something big happening, I turn up. Rest at time, I just moan about it. You know.
This is like the reward though for sticking through them rubbish England friendlies. This is your reward for sticking through them. Well, because now you get a big tournament to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're always good fun, aren't they? They're always good fun, no matter what. So, but it is going to be a tough competition. There's some very, very good footballing sides in there, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. John mentions here that he doesn't agree with the best third place teams qualifying. That makes some groups very defensive. Yeah, there's 24 teams that start out. We only lose 6 teams, 8 teams from that. 16 go through to the last 16. So it's not the best format, which makes it, again, not as exciting as it used to be. I remember going back to 2004 was when England lost to Portugal on penalties, but we were a kick away. If we didn't lose to France, we'd have topped the group, or we'd have played Greece, and you'd have fancied to beat Greece. In the end, you play the home nation in their own backyard and lose on penalties. So it's not the same as what it was, but that makes us sound old. Scott Kent says, for him, Holland are the dark horses. Sam Darby says Denmark, who were in England's group. Is there anybody outside England that you're interested to watch, Tom? Any specific?
Somebody mentioned it in the comments about being dark horses of Holland. I think Holland will be good to watch. Just because I think they're defensively look fantastic. Van Dijk, De Ligt, Van de Ven, etc. They've got good fullbacks, good attacking players. Who did they beat? They beat Iceland 4-0, 4-1, something like that. They look good. They look like they look quality. I think they'll be fun to watch as well. That Argentina-Netherlands game in the World Cup was extraordinary. So hopefully they give more of that. Probably one I'm tuning in for the most. Trying to think of a lower key one that I might be interested in watching. I'll have to get back to you on it. Who is it?
You look at the group that they're in, though, and that's a tough group. Because Poland nor Austria are walkovers, are they? You know,
no.
And France obviously are going to be tipped to head that group. But I wouldn't want to be playing any of those, to be quite honest with you.
No.
But yeah,
but if you can finish second in that group, it's quite a kind draw. If you finish second, you play second in Group E, which is you'd assume Belgium will win that group. So you'll play Romania, Ukraine, or Slovakia in the last 16. And you would fancy your chance against any of those. So the draw is actually quite kind to Holland to make it better, to kind of scrape through in second place.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Paramount says, I predict Scotland with a horse that's a non-starter.
Yeah, we're all going to do this, aren't we? We're all just going to spend the next week or so ribbing Scotland, calling Scotland out, particularly when they lose to Germany on Friday. That's what's going to happen, and then they're going to finish higher than us. That's just how it happens. That's how it works.
I mean, there's a history of that. Look at Wales. You know, that was that was an embarrassing one. Yeah, true. I mean, to be fair, with Wales, that inspired us to go a step further and get back to the final. Yeah, because Wales made it to the semis, didn't they? So we're like, we're not having some other little country show us up. We're going to go all the way to the final now. But with Scotland, I reckon they're going to have the absolute stuffing ripped out of them, but they'll still manage to go through to the round of 16.
It's a tough group.
They'll probably be like they'll be the best of the worst third place teams to scrape through, I think. But
they haven't made it past the group stage of a tournament ever. I don't think, or maybe once back in the 70s or 80s.
I can't remember.
Mick, maybe they want to come for this. Do you remember? They still haven't done it since '96, Mick. Do you remember any time 70s or 80s that Scotland made it past the group stages?
I'm sure somebody will correct me, but no, I can't remember. They beat Brazil, I think, at one stage. Or they actually when Archie Gemmell scored for them. Whether they actually got through a group stage then is another matter. I would doubt it very much. But yeah. I don't care.
Got group. They host. They play the host. You never want to play the hosts in any circumstance. A lot of teams found out against England in last Euros. You don't want to play England at home. The same with Germany at home. Hungary are a really, really good team. Beat England in England. And Switzerland are always dangerous. Switzerland are a horrible team. They're always there or thereabouts. If they're not in last 16, I'll be amazed because that's where they kind of live.
Yeah, Hungary is my team that people look to them and underestimate them, but they shouldn't. Because, like I say, they've beaten us recently. I think Hungary's our record defeat in international fixtures as well. Some at daft like 7-3, some at 6-3.
That was the famous Hungarian team.
Yeah, that was the famous Hungary team in the 50s. But they'll get into the round of 16 in second place. I wouldn't write them off for first, depending on how Germany approach everything. But Hungary's going to be a difficult one. They're going to be so up for it. I think that they'll get to the quarterfinals. Personally, I think, and if they play the cards right, maybe even the semis. So Hungary's like the Rotherham of this tournament. Don't write them off because they'll do something extraordinary.
But then there's always a possibility they'll finish on a record low points and not.
Yeah,
there
is also that.
As people mentioned, we're having some streaming issues. I don't know. We can see all each other fine, so it must be a YouTubing issue. Yeah. Not individual Wi-Fi's gone just yet. There will be time for that, I'm sure. So I'm assuming it's a YouTube issue. We'll all keep an eye on that. Hopefully it fixes itself. Who knows?
It's not me for a change. That's nice.
No, unbelievable. We've got Danny on whose hamsters running the Wi-Fi and making a car park in Wales. It's not the problem. It's amazing.
Well, you know, Matt, it's a water wheel, not a hamster.
Sorry. I think John mentioned the Spain-Croatia game, which will be a belter. Spain-Italy, am I right in thinking as well? Spain-Italy in the same group as well.
Yeah.
Spain-Italy and Croatia as one group is a great group. Poor Albania. Getting that one. But Spain and Italy are always they're tournament teams, aren't they, Mick? Particularly Italy. They really are a tournament team.
Yeah, they are. They are. Nobody wants to play Italy, do they? And the absolute best thing that could happen for the whole tournament would be for them to have a really bad day against Albania. I can't see that happening. I can't see that being any way happening. But they're not a pleasant side in any way, in any shape or form. You know, and anybody outside of Italy or without Italian connections, I would think would want to see them out as soon as possible, because the deeper they run into these competitions, the more difficult they become to play, don't they? You know,
they're very good at building momentum, aren't they?
They are, and 99. I've used 99 times 500 twice now. You know, they are absolutely one of the teams that cheat their way through a game without a shadow of a doubt. So I want rid as soon as possible if anybody's listening who could influence that.
If there's any Albanians listening.
Yeah. we're pretty big in Albania, I understand. So I think, you know, if you can get behind your team and take Italy out, that'd be brilliant.
Good.
What's interesting about the Italy team, though, is that sometimes they're playing players who I've never, ever heard of. And I like to think my football knowledge is relatively good. And they'll pick a random player from somewhere and I've no clue who they are. They're playing 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 𝐂𝐥𝐮𝐂 up front. And I don't know about you guys.
West Ham?
Yeah. Couldn't cut it at West Ham. It's just Italy will be a tough team. I saw Ali McCoy's tipped them to win it, and I just didn't think that.
No.
Ali's Scottish, isn't he?
You don't want to say England.
Ali McCoy's Scottish.
Yeah. Well, say France then. Just say anyway. I don't know. Matteo Darmian at centre back is just it's weird. It seems like a very weird squad. So if they don't qualify, potentially wouldn't surprise me. But you know, I might be speaking very prematurely there. If you get a chance, look at their team who played against Bosnia, and I could name 3 of the 11. Like I recognise 3 of the 11 players. It was, and felt a bit silly, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, they've got Bonucci's just retired. I don't think Chiellini plays from anyone, and these were they're like stalwarts of international football, weren't they? So I imagine for them to lose them is difficult to replace. Scott Kent on England says our run to the final if we finish second is honking. It's probably going to be Portugal, Italy, France. Could be, yeah, possibly, yeah. John Morell says what every other fan in every other country will be saying is that don't want to play England. Danny,
yeah, you wouldn't do, would you?
No, this England squad. Let's move on to England now. We'll talk about the Iceland game in a minute. But this England squad, that not just on paper, what they've done over the last 12 months, longer than that, because around Southgate's been here, this squad should be peaking around now. They've built up and built up and built up. And this is kind of almost a peak for some of these players that this hopefully they will feel this is their chance.
Yeah, but I think the key word in that is should. I know England fans like to go on with the it's coming home, and over recent tournaments, we do sort of have more of an argument for that because we got to the semi-final of the World Cup, the final of the Euros, and then was it the quarterfinals that we lost to France to last time?
Yeah, I lost to France because that Kane penalty, didn't we?
Yeah, which is still in orbit. But so you can see where the justification for it's coming home is coming from. But you know, I grew up with the so-called golden generation of England, and they won nothing. They never got past the quarterfinals of a World Cup. And you know, the Euros form was absolutely atrocious. But I think the main difference is the squad actually gets on with each other. If you look back at the golden generation, it was far too Premier League club orientated, and they hated each other. But currently, you know, we've got more players from abroad as well, which is nice to see. But this squad, they get on with each other. They are really pally in the England camp, which is nice to see. It's just a shame that England aren't a friendlies team anymore. You know, we've sort of transitioning to what you say, like with Italy. England are slowly transitioning to a tournament team. You know, we might not win it, but we're always competitive with it. But in recent friendlies, we've been absolutely dire. Like we'll talk about the Iceland game in a minute, but that's prime example. We were shocking in that. But they've sort of said, you know, it helps temper expectations. You know, so I think everyone's got that thing in the back of the mind of, you know, we need to be on a game, both fans and players. But on paper, we've got one of, if not the strongest squads of any country in the Euros. France, very close second if we're the best. And I think that's where the optimism comes from. It's just, can we do it 11v11 on a football pitch? And I think that's the main question to ask of Southgate. Because when it comes to crunch time against one of the big nations, you know, like Italy, France, potentially Germany, they had a wobble when we beat them in the round of 16. But, you know, with that being on their turf, you know, if we do play them, will we actually stand up to them and give them a game? Because so far, we've not done the best against the quote-unquote big nations.
Fair enough. Pogban Pig says the manager that worries him. Sam Darby says, I've got a poor defence for me. Can't see us doing anything major, and he doesn't trust Southgate. This not just in Southgate is harsh, Mick. You only get one or two attempts at playing a big team in each major tournament because you only play. There's not many big teams around, to be fair. And look, he's got a semi-final of the World Cup, which we were lucky with the draw. Let's be right, we were lucky at times, but we got through. Last European Championships, we were probably the best team in the tournament. We just couldn't get over the line. And the last World Cup, if that penalty goes against Harry Kane, you wouldn't have bet against us going on to beat France because I think we've got a better bench than them, and we may well have gone on to get to the final like they did. So I think the Southgate criticism is harsh. I kind of get it, but I do think it's harsh.
Yeah, I do as well. But it's England, isn't it? You know, and I know I don't want to sound like a miserable old fart, but I know that I am. So, you know. England's great. England are great while they're winning, you know, and everybody loves them and everybody's happy with it. The second something goes wrong, somebody has to fall on the sword. Somebody has to be sacked. Somebody deserves this, the other, or whatever. And it really is poor, I think, the way that we as a country support, in inverted commas, our national team, because we don't. We only support them when they're doing well. We'd never, ever... You know, there's never anything positive to pick out of a defeat ever, and that's not the way it should be. I don't think. Gareth Southgate is an excellent coach. We make no mistake about it. Whether or not he tactically is as astute as some of the other coaches at international level is up for debate. We'll have to wait and see. But you know, he's got us further in the major competitions more consistently than just about any other manager. Bobby Robson obviously got us to the semis in 1990, but with the except other than that, you know, nobody else come close until you start going back to dark ages. So, yeah, we've not won anything, but don't forget there are only two competitions in reality. When you take out all the friendly garbage in between, you know, this Nations League and all that nonsense, there are two competitions, and which by definition means there can only be two teams that win it, and one of them includes every single international team in the world. You know, so it's not like the competition isn't as stiff as it could possibly be. So yeah, I get what people say about him, and tactically sometimes he does get it wrong, and he's arguably too defensive, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that in this tournament because I think defensively the squad that he's picked is probably not great. Well, it's not great. There's no doubt about it. Whether it's through injury or whatever, you know, defensively we're not particularly strong. From an attacking point of view, I think, as John mentioned in the comments earlier on, from an attacking point of view, I'll be very surprised if there's anybody that's got the quality that we've got going forward. Any of the teams, and I include France and Spain and Italy in that, particularly Italy, because they don't go forward, do they, necessarily? Or they're not certainly. Well, they're not certainly not renowned for attacking free-flowing football, are they? You know.
No.
So, yeah, it's a difficult one. But what we do know is, and what we can be certain is, that unless we win it, everybody will be screaming for Southgate to be sacked. I don't think he'll be at the end of the tournament, whether we win or lose. To be perfectly honest. I think this might be his swan song, but we'll have to see. But I like what we've got. I'm really impressed with the squad that he's putting together, and the quality in it, in particular, like from an attacking point of view, like I say, is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. And you look at France. France have got a wonderful team, but they've obviously got Mbappe, you've got Griezmann, Dembele, and Giroud. Mbappe is one of the best in the world. Would you have Griezmann over Bellingham?
No,
probably not. You probably have Bellingham. Would you have Dembele over Phil Foden? We're English. I'd probably go Foden, but that might be a toss of the coin. And you'd have Harry Kane over Giroud every day of the week. So
the problem you've got with the likes of Mbappe, he spends far too much time on the floor. You know, he's an amazing player. He's an unbelievable footballer, but then spends 20 minutes rolling around screaming like a baby. And he does, you know. we don't tend to have. We do have some players that will do that, but not to the extent that these other major teams have it. The problem we've got obviously is from an officiating point of view, whether that gets them the benefit that they're aiming for. But I wouldn't have Mbappe over any of our forward line, frankly. I wouldn't.
Fair enough. I would.
I know you would, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that strikes me about the next contender, if you like, in France, and I've seen Michael Carnell mention the conspiracy theory that UEFA want Ronaldo to win a major tournament, but
He's already
for
won
me,
He has.
exactly, he already has. So, but for me, there are certain countries that have like more celebrity internationals. You know, like France's Mbappe. It used to be various other players. But Mbappe's like got his head above the parapet now, and he's like the celebrity international. Portugal's Ronaldo, I'd argue Croatia's is Modric.
Modric still, yeah.
Italy sort of dropped away. They don't really have like the titular celebrity player. Same with Germany as well. You could argue it's Thomas Muller, but
not anymore.
No, not anymore. So with England, that sort of falls into the line of we haven't got one big celebrity player. I mean, Bellingham's come very good and is top world-class, top standard now. But I wouldn't argue he's England's title celebrity player because we've got a few of them. So it sort of like just peters out nicely. And I think when a country's got a celebrity player, if you like, the pressure's already on them straight away. You know, like it's on Mbappe to perform, it's on Ronaldo to win it again because it could be his last major tournament, even though we've been saying that for the last 20 years or whatever. But with England, it's all just sort of nicely level. But we've already mentioned it's just defence that's a bit of a wobble. But the question is, you win a football match by outscoring the opposition. You know, if our front line is hitting the barn door, we're away. If we're not hitting the barn door, then we'll have a poor tournament.
The thing is that Southgate gets a lot of criticism for is that we're too defensive. And I get that. And the problem is we can't defend. So if we set up to attack teams, Tom, we would be in trouble because we haven't got the defensive players. We rely on Kyle Walker's pace a lot when we're attacking to get back in cover. So the way that Southgate sets up, I know people find it frustrating, but you've got to play like that when you've got defenders like we are. You've got to be more solid. Otherwise, you'll get found out time and again. For me, it's the right way to do it. There's a fine line. I think he got it wrong against Italy in the final. I think he made some mistakes. But the setup for me defensively is the right way to go with the squad we've got.
Yeah, tournament-based, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting you say that because, well, Southgate started off with his waistcoat and his 5 at the back, and you know we got to the semi-finals of the World Cup. So, you know, you can argue he's too defensive. I think he's too passive rather than too defensive. It's not. There's no aggression. There's no front footedness. It's watching that Iceland game was so lackluster because there was no urgency. I understand it. Nobody wants to get injured. Realistically, the players aren't really bothered. Like they're not, and you can understand why. They should be bothered, by the way. But you can just tell that they weren't. You can just kind of, it just lacked a little bit of oomph. Which I don't know if it's Southgate's fault, if it's the players' fault. I think managers are really, really looked upon too much in international football. You could have Pep, but he has the players for 2 weeks a year. A week before the tournament starts and all this. Like he wouldn't be, some managers surely will be able to do a masterclass, but most of them are just hype men in a lot of ways, and that's all Southgate does is gets them playing to their best ability and gets them gelled as well. I wouldn't say we're too defensive. I'd say we're too passive. A lot of the times watching Iceland and Bosnia, it wasn't. We didn't sit 8 men behind the ball. We passed around again and again. It's a lot of sideways passes, a lot of backwards passes. you could tell the game changed when Trent came on and actually tried to play forward passes. It was ridiculous. Hopefully Foden and Bellingham offer a bit more of that. But yeah, I just think it's purely down to the fact that we are way too passive in stages of play. Again, could be down to the manager, could be down to the players not wanting to get injured. A lot of different circumstances. Sometimes fear as well. Yeah, it's it'll be good to see how they approach the first game against Serbia. Right. Because they're not a bad squad. Really not a bad squad. If we play, and they'll sit men behind the ball and they'll counter and then they'll try and wear us down. So we will see what happens. But the first game is how you go out really for the rest of the tournament. If you play well in your first game, more than likely we'll have a good tournament. If you play poor in your first game, more than likely you will for the rest of the game, rest of the tournament. It's just all about confidence really and getting that confidence up, which he does brilliantly well. Yeah, just hope a little bit more aggression rather than defensive play style.
It's about the win though. You look at 2021 or Euro 2020, we were rubbish against Croatia that first game, but we won. We got across the line and got the win. Same in 2018 against Tunisia, with a 90th minute winner from Kane. We were rubbish against Tunisia. But I know we smashed Iran in the first game, but Iran aren't very good. This is a different Serbia, a different kettle of fish to Iran, aren't they? They're completely different kettle of fish. People mentioned the Iceland game. Pig saying it was an embarrassing game, Mick. We were poor, but at the same time, I thought it was a good friendly for us to have because and the circumstances going 1-0 down actually I think worked out quite well because teams are going to sit in against us especially because of third place going through. Teams can't really come out and attack or probably won't attack us. Serbia are not going to come out and attack us, and Slovenia are probably not going to come out and attack us. So that hour trying to chase the game was probably a really good hour for Southgate to see what needs working on, see what was wrong, which was a lot. But I actually think the game was probably really, really useful for Southgate and the players going forward, even though it was rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, this was a point. The reaction to the Iceland game is one of the points I tried to make earlier on, quite clumsily probably. You know, the game meant nothing, absolutely nothing. The result meant nothing at all. Even the performance to a degree, you know, it's just getting some hours in legs or minutes in legs. That's all it is. You know, it's utterly irrelevant. You know, the only important part of that game was the fact that nobody came out of it with an injury. And you know, and I think John's mentioned it in the comments earlier on there. You know, if we'd gone for that game and attacked and either Foden or Bellingham, well, Bellingham didn't play, but Foden or somebody else came out with an injury, you know, it would be criticised for that as well. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. These pre-tournament friendlies are genuinely, I can't understand why anybody gets worked up about them. You know, I really can't. It's the same with pre-season, you know, pre-season matches, football matches, and we'll go on to the Rotherham United stuff later on. It's utterly irrelevant. It is so irrelevant. It's not true, and yet we get so annoyed and so frustrated about it. You know, and what will happen, and what generally happens with England is we have shoddy, poor pre-tournament friendlies. The first game is dour, horrible, boring. Sometimes we win it, sometimes we don't, and then we start to kick on. That's how it happens. And like I've just said there, everybody moans about it. Everybody moans about the pre-tournament friendlies. Everybody moans about the first game, and all of a sudden it's coming home again. You know, there's no in between, is there? So it was a pain. It was rubbish. Yeah. But I don't know why you'd expect anything else. Really, it's not important. What's important is from Sunday onwards, and yeah, that's me.
Okay. Palmad says Southgate reminds him of Russell Martin. How dare you? How dare you? No.
Yeah, but the difference is he's got players who can do it.
Well, that's true, actually. Yeah.
And not only that, he's a lot clearer in his message. And you know, if everybody thinks that Southgate's a bit boring, I tell you what, he's far more attacking, far more positive and progressive than Russell Martin.
Yeah, yes. The big omission, damn, you can pick up some other omissions if you want, but the big omission for me is Jack Grealish being left out of the squad. That was a surprise. But then it's one of those that when you announced, wow, I'm shocked at that. But then you sit back and you sort of go, well, he's not had a great season for Man City. He's been injured. He's in and out of the squad. Eze was brilliant against Bosnia. So Grealish was never going to start. We can talk about who's going to start in a minute. Grealish was never, ever going to start. Anthony Gordon's also been better than him. So it actually is the right decision when you sit back and think about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just basing it off Grealish's season, I mean, that's one of Southgate's biggest decision makers, really, is how they've done over the previous season. Because like we said before, he only gets 2 weeks with him max before a major tournament. That's not a lot of time to, whittle it down from 33 to 26. But like you say, it was a surprise decision not to take, I can't even pronounce his name, Jack Grealish. There we go. But like you say, you just sit back and you look at it and go, well, actually, I can see where he's coming from. But the same can be said with the friendlies that we've played recently, like the Iceland game. On paper, losing 1-0 to Iceland is appalling. The way we played was not England at the best. But then you sort of step back and go, well, were we hoping for something different? Because the last time we played Iceland, was at a major tournament and we were actually horrific. We wanted revenge for that. Maybe Southgate was trying something different. It all sort of stacks up, and then it doesn't actually look as bad as people think it was. Same with Jack Grealish being omitted. It would have been a great asset because he had a brilliant tournament last time out. He ran riot at the last Euros as well. Whereas this time around, he's been in and out of the Man City squad. I think it was 3 goals and 3 assists total. But you look at Anthony Gordon, all right, fair enough, it's a different team completely. But he's touching the 20s with goal contributions in all competitions, I think it is. So, that's sort of the selling point as well. He might not have Grealish's determination and ability to whip the ball into the box like we saw at the last Euros, but he seems to have better game experience over the last season, and I think that's influenced the decision. There are a few that surprised me, if I'm being honest, especially young lad who was at Crystal Palace, just signed for him in January. What's he called? Wharton. That's a surprise inclusion, I think. But again, he's had a decent few months at Crystal Palace. He was doing really well at Blackburn, which warranted his move to Palace. And again, he's just been really good. And I do think you need that youthful desire in any sort of team. And I think that is Wharton. He'll bring something different that a lot of teams won't expect. Everyone's expecting Harry Kane to score goals. They're expecting Kyle Walker to be quick, Jordan Pickford to be, quite dynamic in his saves and everything. They're expecting Jude Bellingham to be Jude Bellingham. But, Adam Ward, it's like, oh, interesting. What's he going to do? And that sort of adds to England's bow, a surprise package, And I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments, but over the last few tournaments, the surprise packages have done really well. It's like Saka being a surprise package, and he did phenomenal. At the was it the last Euro? Yeah, the last Euros. He did phenomenal at the last Euros. Yeah. So maybe it's Wharton's time this time around.
I can't see him getting any minutes, but I agree. Well, I agree. It's good to have in the squad. As always, we like to bring things back to Rotherham United. He started his year drawing at home to Rotherham United, and now he's going at European Championships.
He shouldn't have got that. He shouldn't have got that either.
No, he should have got.
No, you mentioned it now.
The year, New Year's Day.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. He also
not the Molly Madley
season.
one.
Yeah,
you still mentioned it to him. Though.
Nick just hears the name Blackburn and he's off.
Yeah.
Start of the year by Tommy scoring against his team, and now he's going to the Euros, which is amazing. Scott Kent says taking Dunk over Jared Brandthwaite is absolutely criminal. I'm not a Dunk fan at all in the slightest. But I suppose, Tom, if I'm squinting just right, is a bit of a like for like for Maguire, and that's I don't necessarily like that thinking, but that's maybe why.
Yeah, but he's not.
Yes, I agree. I agree,
Yeah.
Tom.
It's weird because realistically, you're playing Stones, and based on who he's played in friendlies, 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 from Palace, and then you've got 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 and Dunk or Branthwaite. Out of them, you're not playing Dunk or Branthwaite, and for real, for real. You know, he's bringing Mainu and Wharton on the premise of tournament experience, exposure, and all that, which is fine. They're still good players, but they won't get minutes because they might get minutes, but they won't be starting games. He might get minutes, but he won't be starting games. I don't think, because you've even got Conor Gallagher over him or Trent going there. Anyway, so they're going for tournament experience. What's wrong with Jared Branthwaite not going for experience? And also, if you want to like for Maguire, stick James Tarkowski in there. He's one of the best England defenders. And when I say defender, I mean defender. He's one of the best England defenders that there is. He's better than Stones at defending. He's better than, majority of them defending. And him, Branthwaite, and Pickford all on the plane. I don't know. It makes sense to me, but for some others it might not. I think Dunk is fine. Maybe he offers something in the dressing room. Connor Cody used to go quite a bit, and it was simply because he was so good in the dressing room. He picked players up, he'd motivate, he was great, he was a leader. Never got any minutes, but the work he did off the football pitch was phenomenal for them. So that's why he went. Whereas for Dunk, nobody knows. But yeah, in terms of actual defenders, and for Maguire, you take Tarkowski. Not saying I would. I'd take Branthwaite over him, but it's a curious decision. And even if it's just tournament exposure, you want to take him because he's 21 now, one of the better England defenders.
He'll be playing next tournament, won't he? He'll be there at the next tournament, probably.
He'll be playing in a year, he'll be playing in 6 months. He'll be starting for England. He'll probably get a summer move to Man U and ruin his career, actually. But it's just a case of what happens now. This, I don't know. Maybe Dunk has some blackmail on Southgate or something. Who knows?
Always possible.
Yeah.
Let's move on to what you want to see Sunday make. I think for me, the front sort of six midfielders and the attackers pick themselves. For me, it's Rice and Bellingham as your midfield two, and then Saka, Palmer, Palmer and Foden with Kane in front. For me, that picks itself. Is there anything else you'd change in there?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That as an attacking force is formidable. So no, I absolutely don't think there should be any change to that. The only question is defensively, and I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have a clue where he's going to go with that. With the exception of Pickford and Kyle Walker, I don't know what he's going to do. But yeah, from an attacking viewpoint, I think you're absolutely right there. So yeah, I can't add anything to that. You'll be pleased to know.
Oh, good. Yeah. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, Tom. Danny, so I'll come to you in a minute. Sorry. That somebody else would play Bellingham further forward, so not as a midfield two. It would put Bellingham essentially where Palmer did play, but then you play Mainu in the middle. But for me, Bellingham was better deep because he can move things further forward. He can drive the team from deep, and so can Rice. To be fair, Rice can do something similar as well. Would you be tempted to put Bellingham further forward or not, Danny?
Oh, sorry. I think with Bellingham, he sort of tends to sit a little bit deeper for Real Madrid, doesn't he?
He almost plays a striker in Champions League final. Almost.
Is he?
Yeah, it was like a false nine.
Yeah.
Like Steve Evans is going to play next year.
Oh, interesting. I would argue
in Jordan Hugo.
I would argue to play Bellingham in the position that he plays best in for Real Madrid, because that's obviously the position he knows and why he was signed there. But he's the best way I can word it is he's a very ambidextrous midfielder. He can do the deep sitting role, but also play higher up the pitch as well.
I'm not asking.
He use both hands. It's not. We're not talking about
ambidextrous.
I'm not talking about Bamford here, you know.
If he's going to
Bamford's ambidextrous, he can score with both hands.
No, that's Patrick Bamford, that mate.
Yeah,
That's what I just said. Yeah.
With Bellingham, I wouldn't have him sitting, but I'd have him in the midfield. I wouldn't have him as a 10. I'm not asking him to sit deep. I'm not having this double pivot nonsense with Bellingham. It's kind of a central midfield but with a bit more of a free role.
Double pivot.
Double pivot. What are you talking about?
I was waiting. Yeah, the Mazzala.
Oh God, I hope we're not going to play a double pivot. Oh, that might just be horrendous.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I think Rice can do that. I don't think, but Bellingham there gives you something else in next to him.
What are you talking about? I thought this was a football podcast.
Then I mentioned about him sitting. I'm not saying for Bellingham to sit. That's what I'm saying.
No. You said something about a double pivot. I thought you were
joking about
engineering or something.
You've made his brain malfunction, man.
Oh dear.
But no,
as long as he plays him in a double pivot with a low block, I'll be very happy with that.
we need to mention these when we actually do the live watch along. Keep mentioning that. Oh, I think Bellingham's doing double pivot, and watch him slowly turn a different shade of red.
And mention all these Italian Latin football terms. What is it?
Yeah. We'll get some football jargon for you for Sunday, mate.
Yeah.
We'll invert the fullbacks, as Tom said.
Yes,
as well.
Inverted fullback.
Yeah. I cannot wait to invert the fullbacks.
Defensively, Tom is a problem, and it is a problem at the minute. What would you do? How creative would you be, or would you just keep it kind of basic and Trippier or Shaw, Kyle Walker?
You can't play Shaw.
You don't think?
Nah, you can't. Come on. I mean, maybe, but come on. he's never fit. Him and Stones are not gonna play 3 games between them in this tournament.
Fair enough, yeah.
And Stones maybe more, but Shaw's not played all season, and he's the only left back in the entire squad. If that, come on, it was silly to do that. I mean, what's the Palace one? Mitchell, he's all right. Take him just as a backup.
Yeah, but 5 Palace players in one squad.
Mental, isn't it? We should have been 6. He should have taken Elise.
Yeah, true. Actually, yeah.
Actually, yeah. Elise is technically not French yet. So anyway, I mean, he might be actually French. Anyway, I think it was silly to just do that. But yeah, keep it simple, keep it safe. It'll be what back 4 that we usually expect. I don't know. Pickford, Walker without a doubt. Stones if he's fit without doubts. That's 3.
He's been
ill.
Stones have been ill, hasn't he, this week?
Yeah. I think he's fit, but he's just ill. And then left back and centre back are completely up to the day, I guess. I'd play Gueye. I think he's the better. Consa's good as well. They're both solid options. And then left back is Trippier or Shaw. And don't get me wrong, I think Trippier is a good player, but he's not a left back. He's not left-footed.
It's not a great season either. He's been fine, but he's not had a great season by his own standards.
Yeah, and Shaw's not played since October or something ridiculous. So it's looking ropey down the left-hand side. Oh, Joe Gomez plays left back for Liverpool, doesn't he? I guess that's it. I completely forgot that Joe Gomez is going. Holy Christ! Anyway, midfielders, you've got Rice is nailed on. Bellingham is nailed on. And then it's probably Trent, isn't it? I
forgot about Trent.
Yeah, in midfield.
I hate him in midfield. I really, really don't like him in centre at all. No. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I thought
he was excellent against Iceland and Bosnia from midfield.
I just don't see it. I don't know. It might be just me. Don't like. I think he's great at right back. Against something like Serbia, he'd be great at right back. But that midfield thing, it's just looks odd to me. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Maybe.
I hope I am wrong, by the way.
Yeah. but front four of Kane, Bellingham, Foden, and Saka has to happen. I think you work from the front back in regards to picking a team. So keep it simple, I guess. But that defense is looking iffy no matter what, and not iffy because they're bad players. Iffy because they've never played for England before. There's a lot of I think in that I'm going to butcher preliminary squad. There was Maguire was the second top scorer behind him. So it's a very inexperienced squad, very young. So I think I don't know. It's a good squad. It's not the best that we've had. I think the Euro squad last time was a lot better, and the World Cup squad even.
I think defensively, yeah, but I think the attacking players are now peaking at the right time.
Bellingham was true actually.
How quickly we're going to talk about the Rotherham friendlies in a second. What's the tournament hold, Mick? Where are England getting to?
I mean, we're quite rightly up there with the favourites, aren't we? And I think, given the quality of the squad, that is justified. If with a fair wind, I think we can win it. I don't think we will, because we never seem to be able to get over that final hurdle, do we? But you know, we will be there or thereabouts. I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure of that. So,
what's your prediction? Yeah. I'm not going to write this down, but what would your prediction be?
Well, semis at least, I think. It depends. It depends on the group stage, doesn't it? And where we sit at the end of the group stages. If we're second, it's going to be a tough ask. If we're top, I think we should be all right. But we should. I would like to think that we're going to make semis. That will be my, and then it's anybody's game, innit, at that point.
They'll probably France in semis, or all going to script.
Yeah.
Which again, Danny.
Having seen England at major tournaments before Southgate came in, I'm not expecting much, but I never do from England at major tournaments. So if round of 16, if we get there, it's like, and go out, it's like, well, typical England. But me being the eternal optimist, sod it, we'll win it. We're going to win it. We're going to win a major tournament for the first time in Lord knows how many years. I've not done the math, but it's a long, long time. So yeah, sod it. We're going to win it. Why not?
Yeah. John Morell says, predict Rotherham to finish on 65 points, but can't see England winning it. Fair point.
Yeah, you're right, John. You're right. And I was just tempting fate with that Rotherham prediction, hoping that they might get to 50. We didn't even manage that.
Tom, what do you reckon?
Semis. Semis to the final. Yeah, it all depends on confidence in the run. Injuries, everything. Pre-tournament predictions are so tough because so many things go on during the tournament in that short space of time. I think every single England fan will be disappointed if they get knocked out below the semis. I think if they got knocked out in the semis to a good France squad, you're not disappointed.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get knocked out in the quarters, even if it's a deserved loss against a great Spain side, you're still disappointed. So semis at least. But I think on a good run, for if the confidence is there, players are playing well, injuries aside, they have got the best squad, more than deserve to win it based on merit alone.
Yeah, I think we've got as best chance until next Euros, because this will be the same squad attacking wise. We've got the best chance to win a tournament as we have in a long time. I'm not kind of England happy clapper, but pre-2018 I would have been surprised to make last 16. But now this team's different than Southgate, and if we can get past France, we should be winning the tournament. France are the only ones that can stop us winning this tournament, other than ourselves. If England turn up, they win the tournament. That's for me. It's kind of as simple as that. But France will be thinking exactly the same. And the difference with this tournament is, in past it's always, well, Spain are very good and Germany are very good. There isn't any of that really, is there? it's us and France that are the two best teams on paper. It's just you've got to play it out on pitch. So I will say we're going to win it, but it'll be bloody hard work. Finish on what I'm sure will be a Mick rant. So Mick rant fans still here. Do stay tuned. The Rotherham fixture list for the pre-season friendlies has been confirmed. I think since we last spoke, I think Spalding's been confirmed, Grimsby's been confirmed, obviously the Doncaster one's been confirmed. And who else was confirmed today?
Stamford,
you know, Steve Evans, the Steve Evans connection, where Steve Evans started his managerial career. We're going back to Stamford. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't care less. If Steve Evans thinks this is the best set of fixtures to get these players ready for the season ahead, fantastic. Other than that, couldn't care less. And if anybody else wants to disagree with me.
No.
The one game I'm looking forward to now is the Doncaster game, and that's it. maybe Alfreton, because it's a new ground and it's actually semi all right getting to on the train. But I
will warn you though, Danny. New grounds don't count in friendlies.
Yeah, I know that, but it'd just be a nice day out, wouldn't it? Okay. But we were teased with a pre-season tour of Scotland in one of Steve Evans's interviews, but we've ended up with a pre-season tour of Lincolnshire. You know, we're playing Stratford and Stamford are both bottom end of Lincolnshire, nearly heading towards Peterborough. Maybe that's the secret idea behind it. We're creeping close to Peterborough just to wind them up.
No, that's where Steve Evans lives.
What, near Peterborough?
Yeah.
Oh, even better. We'll just wind up Alan Swan. Brilliant. That's why we're doing it, just to wind him up. And then obviously Grimsby's top end. But it's a very lackluster lineup of fixtures. To say it was billed with the pre-season tour of Scotland, like, who could we be playing? And we've ended up with, no offence to the teams involved, Stratford and Stamford. It's a bit
Spalding,
sorry. And it's just a bit it's very, very lackluster. The best bit about it is Woody's testimonial. Like, I'm not even that bothered about playing Sheffield United, to be fair, because we did that last pre-season as well.
And there's no Cafu to hit a free kick like that again, is there? So what's the point?
No, I mean, maybe Andre Green will score with a back heel again, maybe, but yeah, it's just very lackluster. But I sort of understand it because it's definitely a pre-season of getting confidence back into the team. You know, all right, fair enough. The teams that are below National League North level, like it's a Northern Premier League level, I think, for some of them. But it's just about getting confidence back in the team, I think. Playing those games, getting confidence back in. Bit of a poor end to, like, you know, final preparations. But, you know, Sheffield United and Doncaster to finishing on a testimonial, it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, it's not. I think we've cracked Steve Evans' code, though. Alt friendlies are near where he lives, and the pre-season tour is probably where his family is, up in Scotland. So we've cracked it. Tom, look, we've got Grimsby. Grimsby are a good competitive team. I think he wants to play competitive teams, and these will be teams that playing against Rotherham is a fairly big game. So it gives us that test to put that spin on it, I suppose.
Yeah, they'll run. I think the thing is that they'll run you ragged. We'll get more of the ball.
Which we'll have in the League One. That's a good test, isn't it?
Yeah. What would you? Yeah, exactly. You play against Leicester in a pre-season friendly. You're doing all the running. You're not getting any of the ball. You can do all that on a training pitch.
Yeah.
The actual game itself is to, you know, warm up the legs, get your touch back in, and teams like Grimsby will press because they'll want to try and prove something, I guess. They'll press you, they'll run you hard, they'll get you, you know, sharper, and confidence will come back, I'm sure. You know, you're playing against fundamentally worse teams, therefore you should have an ounce of confidence about you, which is great. I think it's good. Also, you know, I understand why people are complaining because, like, I don't know, you want a big team and you want to do, you know, you want a big team in pre-season, I guess. But I can't remember who we played big last season. It was Sheffield United who we played again, and Lincoln? I don't know.
Yeah.
Lincoln and Mansfield. I mean, it wasn't exactly exciting last season nor the season before. So I don't know. Unless people wanted Celtic and Rangers and all that, who aren't going to want to play against us, then I don't know what more you'd want, unless you want like a Leicester or Southampton, or which would be boring.
Would be very boring. Yeah.
So yeah.
There's still a chance of Scottish friendlies. Watford announced this week that they're playing Hibs, who are in the Scottish League Cup, so there is room to play a Scottish team or two on the tour. The League Cup shouldn't get in the way of that, as it turns out. But we'll wait and see on that one. Mick, you don't care, do you?
Well, I mean, I knew obviously that this subject was going to be part of the podcast tonight. We mentioned it in chat, and we knew that we'd be talking about it. So I've tried really hard today. I've worked at it and worked and tried to care, but unfortunately, I've got nothing. I've come up blank. I really genuinely could not care less. And I've tried. I'm sorry. I apologise. I failed the podcast. I failed you all. Failed myself, my wife, family, and everybody. But I don't care. Not interested. It's irrelevant.
It's one of those where you can defer to Steve Evans on this one, or whoever the manager is. If he thinks it's best, it's best. That's kind of where it is, isn't it?
Of course it is. Absolutely. If that's the I don't mean this to sound the way it's going to sound, and I'm not being smart here. If that's the level of teams that he wants to play, then that's entirely his choice. He will have a plan as to what he wants to get out of the pre-season. So his manager, let him manage. It's as far as us fans are concerned, 3 games into the season, we'll have forgot who we played pre-season.
Yeah,
and so I just don't see the importance of it at all.
Agree.
Yeah.
There we go. That's it. No signings, which is disappointing. Couple of things to mention. Sunday.
Get off it. It's upsetting. Why? Because you haven't signed someone in a week or two.
It's like 2, isn't it?
2 weeks, yeah. After signing half of the entire of League One. Oh my god. Grow up. Oh my god, I'm turning into Mick. Oh no.
Comes to us all, Tom.
All I'll say is we need to sign someone soon, because Donny are catching us up with the post-season recruitments, because they're on 6 now and we're only on 7. So they're catching us up.
Oh, well, there we go. A couple of things to let you know. First of all, the watch along on Sunday, that will be on. So there'll be no normal episode on Sunday, because there's not to talk about between now. I don't think there'll be a signing or anything. So we're going to do a watch along on Sunday for the England game. We'll be on just before 8 o'clock, probably 10 to something like that, to discuss the lineup that England have got. We will then watch it and laugh at Mick because he gets really frustrated at new refereeing rules and guidance and whatnot, and then it's not followed. And anyway, it'll be great. We'll have a great laugh. So that's 8 o'clock Sunday, the kickoff. So if you want to watch England while listening to us natter, we shall be here. Make sure you subscribe. I think we're 7 away from 1,500. So if you can do that, that would be lovely. It was 4 on the watch. John asking at the watch along. It was 4 doing the watch along. I'm not sure. I don't know if we're doing it for any other England games, but certainly for this one, we'll see how it goes and see what we want to do. But this is something we're looking at doing for other than games when the season comes along. Maybe a few more watch-alongs if we can. Blame Tom if it's rubbish.
Consent. You all consented to this idea.
We did. Yes. We also need a scapegoat as well, just in case it goes wrong.
How did watch along go wrong? What? We're all watching the game. We could sit in silence and watch the game.
Because, yeah, that's true.
That would be funny.
The issue, I think,
we talk.
Yeah.
That's going to be the issue, Tom. Yeah. I mean, given the fact that I tend to get quite vociferous when I watch football matches, and this being a family podcast, may well that 1,500 subscribers may well plummet after.
As soon as you open your mouth.
Yeah.
What you'll probably hear is me talking, and then my wife in the background shouting, stop swearing, Mick. That's what you'll probably hear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shut up, Mick. Yeah, you will get that. Yeah, so that was fun. We'll put a few messages about it out the next few days. And again, Football Content Awards nominations still open. That's open till early August. So if you haven't already nominated us, please do go over there. I haven't put it in the show notes yet, but I will. So if you want to go through that, be on the show notes for iTunes, Spotify as well. And I think that's it for now. Danny, first of all, do you want to give Kimmy Park? We forgot to mention Kimmy Park on last episode. And I said probably someday we would. So the charity football day, give people notes.
Yes, so the podcast has very kindly sponsored me for the Kimmy Park Charity Cup taking place the back end of July. I believe it's the 25th, but I will find out and let you know a proper date. It's third year.
United?
What's that, sorry?
Are you playing Rotherham United in a friendly? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you never know. You never know. He might just send your team up for a kickabout. But he's entering its third year now. And the red team, which are my lot, are hoping to make it the hat-trick of trophies as well. And it will be played at Phoenix Club in Brinsworth, I believe it is this time. So we've changed from Flash Lane to Phoenix Field. And if you want to come along and support, happy days. If not, just throw some money at us and it all goes towards the hospice. And thank you to New York Talk for sponsoring me as well.
You only play on places that begin with an F sound. You've gone from Flash Lane.
I think so, yeah.
Cool. Like it. Like the style. You got to have a brand that you got to stick to, and I like it.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to mention? Because we've gone long again tonight.
Well, I've just had a check on the key dates tweet that the club seems to like. We're expecting the home kit announcement any day now because they say mid-June, so any day now.
What they should have done, and I hate to get on at the club, they should have done it before Euros. If they put a tweet out randomly at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, there'll be a game on, so it's going to get lost in all the noise. But anyway, what do I know?
Unless they're clever and they post it just before England play.
But then it's still get lost though. 10 minutes later, it gets lost in the noise, doesn't it? It needs to be on its own.
Yeah, I suppose.
But again, I'm just an idiot. What do I know? As we've discovered over the last 4 years of doing a podcast, what the hell do I know? Nothing.
Maybe you think the new Birmingham kit looks nice.
That's it. That's not what you told me. Let's move on. Anything else? Good. We will be back on Sunday, as we mentioned, for the watch along. When England will get their campaign underway. Get excited because the Euros are here, boys and girls. Really excited for England to join tomorrow night. 3 games a day, plus Copa America if you fancy it later on. Danny, thank you very much, mate. Appreciate you being with us.
Yep, always a pleasure, lads.
And Tom, I think you've fought through that hangover valiantly. Very good, mate.
Yeah, I think I have as well. Thanks, guys. I'm just going to go pass out.
Cheers, mate. And Mick, from a car park in Wales, absolutely no issues. Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome. I'm taking John's advice. I'm thinking about my life choices. I'm sat here with a laptop. A 4-pack of beer, and some paracetamol ready for later.
Okay. I don't know what's happening later, but anyway, thank you all for being with us. We will see you next time. And as always, should we go up? What do we do? It's not up the middle, is it up England?
No.
Come on, England. Come on, England. There we go. We'll do that from now on. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Go on, England.
It's a Wales through a goal, slots it beyond Foderingham, and the Millers are in front in the South Yorkshire derby. And for the first time in 42 years, Rotherham United win at Bramall Lane. On the edge of the box for Duffy, he can hit them, and he does. The Dolphin has scored an absolute screamer for Rotherham United. Rotherham United have secured their championship status for next season.
Do me a favor, drop me off